Welcome back.
Woo. I'm so high right now. High on Halloween.
Oh, man. I thought you were going to say high on life, but I like the high on Halloween. Oh, man. I'm drinking tea today. Oh,
Damn,
so are you.
Mr. Monkey's already in the house.
What is up, Mr. Monkey?
Oh, you know what? Welcome back to Sinister Sinema. And today we were talking about the Boneyard. What year did this thing came out? I forgot.
1991.
Damn, I thought it was an 80s movie. It looks like it.
No, it's 91. Yeah, it is.
Damn, they already noticed it, man.
I got tired of being called Jimmy Neutron.
That was the best look.
Carlos
Now you look like a cuh from the west side. Cuh. What's up, cuh?
The light doesn't do my hair very good. You can't see it. Yeah, man, this movie's a movie. It's like
straight to video.
It is straight to video.
But it's fucking great.
It's great but bad all at the same time.
No, not even. It's not bad. The acting's decent. The special effects are fucking great.
So overall you think it's like a really great movie?
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's just so dark too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they don't use little people in suits. They actually use fucking 9-year-old kids.
Yeah, man.
In full latex outfits running around as little demon zombies.
Yeah, that was some crazy shit.
I like that. Mr. Monkey said you got that haircut.
For me, Jamie, you said I can turn the level up. Is that for me or for Carlos or both? How was that? Well, you can't see yet, but we're going to go with that. Oh, man. Yeah, this thing was pretty crazy. Anything good happened to you this morning or anything
Migraine.
on your way? Man,
Migraine.
I had a rough headache today.
Me and Doug are connected because we were separated at birth, and we just found that out the other day. I wound up going with Lucia, and Doug wound up going with
Hazel.
Hazel.
Hazel was my grandma and my mom's name. My mom didn't go by that name, but that was her name.
Doug's grandma was so old. That's where the hazelnut name came from.
Yep.
True story.
Oh, man.
I was going to say something else. I forgot. God dang it. This fucking brain of mine.
What's wrong with it?
I always have too much shit going on. Too much shit going on in it.
Yeah.
So I forget stuff.
Yeah. I watched this movie again last night, and man, it's something else. I mean, it's like all over the place, but there are things I really love about it, and there are things that I'm just kind of like.
There's only one word to say about this movie.
What?
Phyllis Diller.
Dude, it's got Phyllis Diller and Mr. Roper in it. Like, that's pretty cool.
No, you can't just say Mr. Roper. You gotta say Mr. Roper number 2.
But they weren't both called Mr. Roper, were they? Wasn't the first one named something else?
Oh yeah. I don't know why I thought that they replaced him. Yeah, he is Mr. Roper. I guess I just consider him the landlord.
Yeah, it was like he retired. Barney Fife retired, and then Mr. Roper came, I think.
Dude, that fucking ponytail, dude.
Dude,
and that stash. Mr. Furley. It was Mr. Furley.
Mr. Furley was the Don Knotts.
Dude, that character, Don Knotts' character, dude, in those polyester suits, like the one I have at the shop of me. That might have been one of his specials.
Yeah, that thing was pretty good.
The Mr. Furley special.
So I guess we're getting into the movie.
Are we?
I don't know. I mean, we're already talking about it. We usually chat it up for a little while. But
there wasn't a lot of info on this thing.
Man, there wasn't a lot. So just to start out, half the crew on this thing went on to do absolutely nothing. Like, literally half the crew, this is their entire IMDb is this one movie. When you look at, like, you know, sound or Or the people credited as Oriental Mother, Oriental Father. Like, this is their only... It's like, hey, let's get these people to cry for a second.
Did you see who joined the chat?
Hey, Doug Carlos, you should get the cuh next time. Cool shirt also. Is Carlos drinking out of a bowl? Like
cool
a bowl
shirt? Cut? Man, everybody's... The Misfits are so fucking... I don't even want to talk about it. Look at me, I'm punk. I like the Misfits.
I thought, no, the Misfits are like metal. They're like metal, dark wave metal or something.
I like the new Misfits because he's so fucking white power. It's great, dude.
Who?
The new Misfits.
I don't know. There's a new Misfits.
Yeah, hell yeah. He goes on stage and he's doing that fucking Swazi salute. There I am in the front.
Is he about to kill you since you're not white?
He doesn't know any better.
Oh, okay. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, spelled with a Z.
What is it? Oh, Misfits? Mr. Fitz?
What's wrong with the Misfits? Danzig.
Oh, you just don't like Danzig. You're not a huge Danzig fan.
That dude sucks.
Dude, you told me the story. He wouldn't sign your shit, and you've hated him ever since.
No, it's not that. I went up. He signed my shit, but he dropped one. I dropped one, and I went down to pick it up. And when I came back out, his big ass fucking nickel-sized nipple was sticking out of his mesh shirt, and it like rubbed all my face and mouth.
And so now you're like,
so now I'm like, ugh. I got all sweaty and vomiting. Misfits. That was it. I didn't want to have anything to do with those nips.
This is an original like concert shirt. Today I put it on. I was like, it was all. I mean, it still kind of is. I haven't worn it in so long, and it's like this.
You can tell that thing is.
It's like turned into like a. It's kind of stiff.
It's not
like cotton anymore.
I hate Doug Carlos would say vintage.
Yeah, vintage.
He doesn't sell them anymore, huh? Maybe he sold out.
Probably. I threw most of my vintage stuff away. I was just like, I'll give it to Goodwill.
Damn, they're making killings out there.
They're probably like, this has a hole in it, and threw it in the trash. We can't sell this. It has a hole in it.
Damn, some vintage fucking story right here. I hate Doug Carlos. Danzig tried to sleep with Jackie when she was 15. She said no. So she signed her jeans. He signed.
That's creepy.
Oh, that is creepy.
So, this movie has some stuff that's real weird to me. One,
naked 9-year-old girls running around.
No,
and boys.
The opening scene is like so long. They should have edited like half that out, like them going to the house.
Yeah,
it's
and
like
you know what I didn't like about
long.
That scene, dude. Fucking chill out with the leaves. I know it's supposed to be fall.
I literally had that last night. I was like, what the fuck is up with these leaves? Like at first they're coming down from the top, but then whenever he goes up to the porch, they're like blowing in from the side.
Thank you for noticing that too. I'm just like, what the fuck? How many fucking trees are over this dude?
And then if you look in the background, all the trees are completely no leaves on them. So you're like, where are these leaves coming from? That's funny. Yeah, I pointed that out last night, and Em was like, I don't see that. Then all of a sudden, it's like they're coming from the side,
like shitloads of leaves.
Yeah, and then that opening scene, like them going to the house and being in the house, man, it was just too long. I mean, it was like a good 15 minutes to try to set up the characters, but like it
because in the movie it would have only been like 50 minutes,
but it didn't need to be that long. Like it was just like really weird because they weren't
I guess they were just trying to show that her house is in squalor.
Yeah.
What's wrong with her? Or you don't even know who he's looking for.
That's but even the conversation that he's having. So the police officer goes to the house to
Jersey, Ed Nelson.
Jersey, yeah,
old school horror, fucking black and white. Outer Limits.
Yeah, he goes to try to find this lady who you find out is a psychic, and she's like not having it, but like just that whole scene between them is like so long. It's so long.
And I hate how she goes, "Damn it, Jersey." I knew when they call.
But also, what was really weird about that whole thing was how she was like, I don't want to be part of this anymore. And she obviously really is psychic in the movie. And, but when they're sitting there having that dialogue back and forth, this is my biggest complaint about the movie is the sound.
Yeah, the sound was real weird.
So whoever was doing the sound, which they've only, the sound guy, literally only, this was like him and his brother, I think. They both have the same name or something. But they definitely did not know what they were doing. And I actually saw a picture of them, like with their boom and everything, and they just had like a regular mic on the end of the boom. I kind of feel like it was weird because some of these people had done other stuff, but that whoever recorded the sound did a terrible job, because when they were trying to mix the sound, they were trying to cut out, like there was a hiss in it, like the whole time you could hear it while they're talking in the dialogue part.
And then in between,
they just muted it to try to cut out that hiss.
So you could tell when it was weird.
Yeah, it would just be like the whole time they're talking,
and then when it started, it's quiet,
completely quiet. And then they also didn't do like any Foley work on it, so there was no like footsteps or any of that kind of stuff for a lot of it. But then there's parts like when he's crashing into the door with the forklift, it seems like they're just banging on metal or something. Like not even like
that was weird. I remember that too. That was weird.
Banging nonstop. I'm like,
I think that's the part where I was like, what was that? Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, the sound guys were terrible on this. That was probably the worst thing about the whole entire thing was the sound. And it kind of goes away, but then like once they're at the mortuary, I don't know if you noticed in the shots where they're in the hallway, you can hear the film running in the camera. You can literally hear the film running just in the shots that are in the hallway. It must have been however it was bouncing off the walls, but you can definitely hear it picking up on the microphones. And so that's my biggest gripe is that. But once you're past that, this movie's great. Like Phyllis Diller, great actor.
The psychic, so Deborah Rose, she didn't do shit afterwards.
Dude, did you watch any of the extras about this? She like threw a cup of hot coffee on like some of the other crew members at one point. Like apparently
her and Ed Nelson got into it because she was like during a major scene, she was like, I'm gonna need more time. I have to get into character study. And he was like, are you fucking serious? Like, this is a fucking B movie. Just say your lines and get on with it.
Plus, like him, Norman Fell and Phyllis Diller are all big actress because, you know, they'd been in tons of stuff. Like,
but nobody knows who they are now.
And she's like, I've got to get into this. And like Norman Fell was like, you just come in and do your lines and leave. It's a.
Oh, was it Norman that said that? Though?
Yeah, I think it could have been. It could have been
either one. They were both big stars, so it doesn't matter really.
But like he completely. I think she must have flipped or something, because you don't see anything that she did after this. Like, I mean, nothing. She was done. There's literally nothing about her. I mean, it's the same thing with some of the other people and
the cop Gordon. I think he just did like special effects. He was a lot of
James Osterman.
Yeah, the young cop, right?
Yeah.
His partner.
Yeah, him and so James Cummings is the writer and director. He's a special effects guy. Like, this is his first movie. And, well, I think it might be his second movie, but, like...
The director?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did makeup on a shitload of horror movies.
Yeah, like The Thing. I mean, like, a lot of stuff. And then he was like, I'm going to write this movie. But I think because he did the special effects on a lot of movies, I think he had some connections and got that done. Also, he had like other other people come in that were pretty decent
Makeup guys?
makeup people, you know. So that was like pretty cool. I feel like they did.
So pretty much this movie's about, it starts out the cops going to the psychic's house. You find out who it is, which is, yeah, that whole beginning's kind of weird.
Yeah,
The young cop goes into rooms and just starts messing with shit, and the shelf falls and a big pile of clothes moves.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why the fuck is she buried underneath a pile of clothes?
That's what I thought was kind of funny because he, you know, she's like literally, I was thinking about like, oh man, they had to go in there and she had to lay down the bed, and you know, whoever the production assistant had to go in there and like just cover her in clothes, you know, like just so she could do that. But
and that's when they're like, hey, we need your help. And the fucking young cop is such a dick. Like, is this the witch? Like,
yeah, he's like totally
you kind of were pissed off.
Yeah, he looks like a Andrew McCarthy ripoff. McCarthy?
Yeah.
Is that McCarthy? Yeah. But yeah, so Bill Corso did the makeup with him on this. He was like the lead on the design and stuff. Which, I mean, Bill Corso has done a shit ton of stuff, and is pretty much does all of Harrison Ford's stuff, and like for him personally, and
To
then
make him look younger?
I don't know. And then he also does all of like Jim Carrey's stuff. So he's like, anytime Jim Carrey's on a movie, like Bill Corso is the one that goes and does his stuff for him. And yeah, he's a Rick Baker was like kind of his, you know, his guy. And he's the one who ended up doing, you know, these cool designs for this, which is very, very cool, I think. But
I like after that scene where, so the fucking Jersey tells her, we need your help. This mortician, we found 3 bodies in his basement, kids' bodies. And we found human remains in their stomachs.
yeah, told him like, he told us he'd been feeding them fresh meat of his clientele.
And he's like, his story's outrageous. So please, we need your help. We need your psychic abilities. And she's all, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it because I'm fucking stupid. I didn't like her character. I mean, she was a good actor, but I think they should use somebody else.
It's weird. She's like a very unconventional actress. Like she's, you know, she was very like overweight and frumpy, and I don't think the character necessarily they call her fat twice in the movie. Like Phyllis Diller, when she looks at her license when she's checking in, she looks at it and she goes, "We've porked up, haven't we?" And then like drops her license, and then later on she like goes, "You fat bitch," to her. I'm just like, wow, like
fucking
that's crazy.
Phyllis Diller, Mrs. Poopin' Platts.
Dude, Phyllis Diller was great in this.
Oh yeah, Jamie said, yeah, everybody like Poopin' Platts.
No, I think she means
I know. I'm just
the other one.
Getting away from her.
Oh.
From the whole
I liked
psychic.
Her.
The psychic girl?
Yeah,
she was all right, but I don't know. Like you said, like she was just off a little bit.
I liked her, but like after hearing the thing about how she threw a hot coffee on some of them.
Yeah, you're like, what a bitch.
Like she intentionally went to get a coffee just to bring it back and throw it on them. And like that's kind of, you know, maybe she's crazy in real life.
So when they leave, she gets all these pictures and all these files, and I'm like, God damn, that's a lot of files. Like, let's just get boxes of papers and throw them all over her living room, right? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So she gets a whole stack, and she's about to light them on fire in her fireplace, and she sees this picture of a little girl, and you're like, oh shit.
And it's all like case files, right, of people she had helped save or at least solve their murders.
So the next thing you know, they show her on the sofa with like 6 McDouble wrappers on her.
Yeah.
And she like dozes off, and she's outside with all this fog on her porch.
Leaves going everywhere.
Fucking leaves again. And she sees a little girl, or she hears a little girl crying. And she walks over to her, and you see the little girl holding that picture that was in the fireplace, and one of her hands all fucked up. And the little girl turns around, and she's all fucking rotted. The makeup was great, dude.
The makeup was really, really good. So that was,
and you're like, holy shit, that's a little rotten kid.
So the little rotten kid, one of the kids on the table, and then the main the ghoul is all this this lady, this girl who was 9 years old at the time, did I think all of those because there's like a little Phil Smoot, who was one of the producers, who's produced a lot of stuff. Yeah, he's been on a lot of stuff, but he, I guess he did it for the DVD. He went back and interviewed her and talked about the movie. But she was the only kid out of the three kids who was able to actually
keep the mask on.
Yeah,
doing the makeup
to be able to sit through the face mold.
Yeah, the mold.
And so they used her mold as
the other kids were ripping that shit off of their face.
Yeah, he said they would put it on them and they would just freak out. I mean, because that's like, we did a mask like that in middle school art class, and it's pretty crazy. Like
I've never had it done.
You just have like little straws in your nose, and everything else is just covered. So I mean, I can see if you're like 8, 9 years old.
You know what it is? You start thinking, I can't hear anything. What if they leave me?
They plug your ears with wax. And
so you start thinking in your mind, what if they leave me? What if something happens? What if there's a fire? You know, so you start going through all this shit in your head. So imagine you're 9 years old.
Yeah.
So you're like, fuck this. Yeah, she was the only one that could do it. And she did a good job, dude. Her little character,
so good. And she didn't really go on to anything either, right? It's like
she has a family. She's
literally, I think I have more IMDb credits than half these people on this crew.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, there's some good stuff in here. And the music.
The music was pretty good.
Dude, the music was real good. And what's crazy about the music...
I think if the music wasn't as good as it was, I don't think the movie would have been...
The music really, really helped it out. And the crazy thing about the music is that that guy did one movie.
What the fuck?
He did the Boneyard. I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm like, how the cinematographer? It's like he's done a couple things, but like for the most part, other than Bill Corso, not counting James Cummings, who wrote and directed, he's done a lot of makeup stuff. But Bill Corso is probably the biggest name on the crew side, and everybody else is just like 4 movies or less. Like, they are just in and out, and it was weird. And I don't know why did he hire these people? Was it like because of the budget? Like, there is no budget even listed that I could see. Like, I didn't see anything about budget.
It had to be at least a cool $1 million.
Do you think so? I mean,
you saw the size of that fucking poodle?
Yeah,
and the Phyllis Diller monster?
Yeah, but the director, he's not really...
Maybe 400,000.
I wish I knew. It's kind of... It doesn't really say. Man, and so that's kind of there's two large puppet creatures at the end, or suit creatures.
I'm sorry, that poodle's badass.
Dude, that poodle is the shit. That's why I say this poodle horror. Like, they have
call it poodle porn horror.
The French poodle that turns into a giant.
Dude, I fucking hate
demon.
Poodles, dude. And of course, Poopin' Plants would have a full grown, not a miniature poodle. She'd have a full grown, nasty, fucking angry poodle.
Yeah.
Annoying as fuck. Yeah. Just like her.
Yeah. Her hair kind of matched the poodle's.
Yeah, they convinced her to go on this movie, to star in this movie without one of her famous wigs.
Yeah, so, yeah, in her I watched an interview with her about it, and they...
Dude, she's hilarious, see?
I know, she's pretty funny.
She's really funny.
My grandma used to watch her all the time. I mean, a lot of these actors and actresses are like 60s and 70s. You know, they're
Yeah,
like,
none of these youngsters out here would remember.
yeah. So I think he just
Dying Breed, dude. All the new ones are coming out.
I think they're just able to get a better, you know, probably it wasn't super expensive at that point to get Norman Fell, and you know, and I'm sure they weren't charging like a ton to do a small part like that. But
Before you know it, people are going to be saying, "Who's Brad Pitt?" And they're going to start saying, "They're going to start saying, what's the name of the guy from Twilight? He's going to be the new one."
I don't know.
The fucking from Batman.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. The one that his eyes are a little bit too wide.
Robert
Patterson.
Patterson.
And they're gonna be like, who's Adam Sandler? Damn, all these new.
I mean, that will
shitty
happen.
actors.
Eventually, that will happen.
That's what happened with these guys. Nobody knows who Ed Nelson is or.
What's crazy is, did you ever see Airport 1975?
A long time, yeah, dude.
Dude, that thing. So Ed Nelson was in that. Norman Fell was also in that. Karen Black was in that.
Dude, and those were blockbuster movies back there because all
Linda
these
Blair was in it.
All these actors. Imagine back then, dude, you gonna go see a movie? Fucking Linda Blair's in it.
Sid Caesar was in that.
Sid Caesar.
Yeah, you just talked about him not too long ago.
That
was like one of those movies that I saw when I was very young.
Same like Earthquake.
Probably, yeah.
Towering Inferno. All those movies, man.
Those are like
nobody even knows what the fuck we're talking about.
I wouldn't call those horror movies. They're like more like thrillers, I guess.
Thriller,
like
action destruction.
Thrillers. Yeah, but I mean they're kind of along the same line. Oh, speaking of, did you see that Shudder released a new trailer?
For what?
For a Dario Argento thing that starts streaming on the 20-something this month.
Is it going to be a movie or?
It's a Giallo movie.
It's that one where it's about witches?
I don't know what it's about. I can't really tell by the preview. But I just saw the preview.
Is it directed by him or is it? Oh, okay. Because the one I saw, he's like the major producer. He's helping this girl.
Oh, okay. Well, I think it said from Dario Argento.
That might be the one.
I don't know.
That might be the one. But it looks cool. It looks dark and
on my phone, and I was like, "Ooh."
It looked very witchy nature.
Cool.
Look at me. I'm gonna go hump this tree. I'm a witch. That's all of them are. That's all they are.
Dude, just because you're humping trees don't make you a witch.
Exactly.
I've been humping trees since I was a little kid.
I know. You gotta fucking gotta check for bees.
It's a witchy tea bag. Yeah, so, man, this thing, Flusums? What was the dog's name? Flusums?
Yeah, something like that.
Flusums, like, it's just this yappy fucking medium-sized, like, poodle thing that just sucks. It's got, like, that, like, classic French poodle cut. That's what I call it. I don't know if that's what I'm probably completely wrong, but...
That's what you gave yourself, right?
Yeah, that's what I tried.
Yeah, I can see it.
I tried, but I don't know how it's looking. I shaved
Turn the other way?
short.
Oh, yeah, you missed some, Doug.
I don't care. I cut my own hair, so it doesn't matter. What you do is you cut it just short enough that whenever it'll take like a couple days to grow out. And then once it's grown out a little bit, it looks like a professional haircut. I forgot that we had to stream every day. I probably should have gone and got a real haircut, but it's cool. And then, so this thing, the basic premise is this guy is looking for, this cop is wanting to get a psychic to help him figure out how these kids were killed, I guess, or whatever. So they go to he convinces her, they go to the mortuary. Actually, the little ghost in her mind convinces her, I think. So they go to the mortuary, and that's when all hell breaks loose. But
she's like, I need to see the bodies.
And they won't let her see them.
They won't let her touch them. So she asks for a lock of hair. And that's the scene that caused all the chaos about the throwing coffee and shit. Where she goes into the room and she touches the hair.
She needed to get into character for that.
I know, right? I mean, that's the scene they showed, so I would assume it was that scene.
I mean, I get it. You need to get into character, but I can do that right now.
Damn, that was good.
Was that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she has this crazy fucking flashback of fucking
Hey, Percio.
what's up? Of what were the King Ming dynasties?
She has a flashback of China, of a Chinese ceremony that some witch or sorcerer or whatever is doing, and he's trying to bring someone. They don't say what it is, but to me, it's like, oh, these people's family died, or kid died, and so he cuts off a finger from the mom and dad and does some kind of magic to bring the kid back alive. And so she sees that in the past, and she's like, oh my God, he's really is a demon, you know? And so, because he told the police, these are demons that...
Kyoshis.
Which I looked up, which means nothing in anything. Like, I tried to find what that meant. It means nothing.
Because they don't want you to know about it.
They just made up a word.
No.
What?
They don't want you to know about it. Why bring havoc into this world again?
But I mean, like, what's a Kyoshi?
Exactly.
So that's how the curse started.
See, too dangerous.
Okay.
Jamie said too dangerous for you to find out what it is.
So that's how the curse started. This is my other gripe about the movie. This guy who had been feeding these things...
He has to feed them to keep them under control. They stay dormant. But when you stop feeding them, they wake up because they need a feed. And whatever they feed on becomes demons too.
Okay. Well, if they feed them. Because remember, they have to, like, feed... They, like, shove some of their flesh into Phyllis Diller's mouth and the dog's mouth. But here's what's weird. They end up being able to kill these things just by destroying their heart. Why didn't this family that's been having to look after this demon for 300 years just wait till that bitch was asleep and stab it in the heart?
Maybe they were fucking scared.
Get the curse gone.
Maybe they were scared.
Maybe they didn't know you could do that.
But the psychic knew.
The psychic knew, yeah. She was like, the power is concentrated in the heart or something like that. Oh yeah, maybe it didn't end the curse, but at least those ones were dead. So
Ass blaster prevents the Boneyard too.
Ugh, gross. So they go to the mortuary, and she sees that they are still alive, and they're down there.
Yeah, they don't show anything. She goes down there by stealing Miss Poopin' Platz's keys.
Yeah, that's when she calls her a fat bitch.
You fat bitch. And she makes it down there, and there's already fucking chaos.
Yeah, and so that was another weird thing, is like they introduce another character at this scene where Dana, who is played by an actress that this is her only role. And Dana is someone who had committed suicide, and they bring her body into the Boneyard, which is what they call the mortuary, or the morgue. And they're literally about to do an autopsy. They start cutting her with a scalpel, and she sits up.
I don't know why they would cut her on her neck. They would need to cut her.
Yeah, I know that, but it was also like, how was she still alive?
I mean, when she came in, remember her hands out, and they hit a bump and it kind of jumped.
That's true, and I think they kind of lead you to believe like, oh, she's coming back alive because of the demon, maybe?
I didn't see that at all.
You didn't think, you just thought she came back alive?
I think the bump jump-started her heart.
The what bump?
When he was bringing her in.
That's a crazy
Remember the screw fell out?
Well, that would be pretty amazing if you could do that. But yeah, how did they not know she was dead?
Really bad EMTs. That's what Jamie said.
Yeah. So that was kind of weird. And they introduced...
It's happened before.
She's kind of like the love interest of the younger guy, I guess. Like they wanted... Like,
ooh, she's hot. She tried to kill herself.
She's like the hot chick in the movie.
I like him crazy. That's what he's thinking. I'm a cop.
That's what the cop is thinking?
I'm a cop. She just tried to kill herself. It didn't work. I'm going to fucking hook up with her.
Ugh. Well, that was like a weird... that was kind of a weird thing, too. But, man, I feel like that gun also.
What in the fuck? Totally forgot to ask you about that.
That prop gun was the dumbest looking thing I'd ever seen. It was like they took an Uzi and then added some weird thing on the side and then put a handle on the side of it. So he was like shooting it sideways. He was holding the gun sideways because for some reason there was a handle on the side. And then it had like big like space age washers on the front. And then it had 2 different scopes on it. It was very, very weird. And he had 2 magazines. Plus also they had an evidence locker in the morgue, which is also kind of weird because it had guns and pipe bombs in it and stuff. And I'm like,
it is really weird. I didn't even think about it. Just right now, I was like, when you started saying that, I was like, why would it be there?
and even though I'm like pointing all this dumb stuff out, I still really like this movie.
Yeah, it's just little things that you really don't notice. Like me, I didn't even think about the fucking evidence room.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
So the whole movie is just them trying to get away from these fucking demon kids that are hideous.
Yeah.
Crawling around. Like, she did such a good job. The way she runs around on her, just squatting down.
The first time you see, when I think one of them's walking through the hall, and I think it's the first time they see one of those characters, one of them has a little doll.
And puts it around the corner.
And puts it around the corner and makes it, like, move. Dude, that was creepy as shit. That was, like, really creepy.
She's all like, and then she comes around the corner and it's all big old fucking smile,
with like dead eyes and
they're like they're all rotten, like they're rotten little 9-year-old kids running around naked.
Yeah,
and people were like, "These kids are naked," and they're like, "No, they have leotards underneath. It's makeup."
Yeah. Oh, so weird.
So that's the movie is just them trying to get away from these fucking kids, and they're trapped, trying to jump from room to room. And yeah, it's just chaos. Phyllis Diller winds up making it down there. And she knocks a shelf on one of them and sulfuric acid gets all over them. The box of sulfuric acid.
It's like she knocks over a shelf and there's like acid all over.
And it melts. But it jumps up and it peels some of its rotten flesh off of its head.
Yeah.
And shoves it in her mouth, and it's so gross.
Dude, yeah, it's like it's just rubbing slime all over her face, and she's like, oh, like, yeah, it was really,
did a good job.
Really good.
The rest of the movie, well, the next, 10 minutes, all you hear is throwing up and gagging in the sink.
They're fighting, and she's just in the corner, like, kind of like gagging out and
dying with green fucking slime all over her mouth.
Yeah, that was, so she's like, you don't know what's happening yet, but then I think the psychic or something says like, oh, there was only one of them, but it created the other 2. So then you're like, oh man, Phyllis Diller's totally going to turn into one. And boy, does she. She really does. Because they're sitting there. What happens is, they're like, we need to get out of here. The elevator's destroyed. One of the demons destroyed the elevator as it was being killed. So they're like, oh, well, there's also a freight elevator. Let's go to that. And they get to the freight elevator, and the guy is coming in to deliver another body, which happens to be Mr. Chen, who was the original. He killed himself. He killed himself. And so as they're bringing him in, there is, they're all kind of looking, and that's a really kind of weird, long scene, and it's weird because, they are looking at this guy as he comes in, and he's just like, are you guys having a party down here? But they're all covered in blood and stuff, and then he's kind of like, wait, what's going on? Man, as soon as that door opened, I would have run into that elevator and got out of there. But so then it's blocked out to where it shows from his point of view, and they're all kind of forming like a little V, and Phyllis Diller monster pops up behind them, and man,
she's like 8 feet tall with crazy big old hands and shit. The makeup was pretty badass.
Yeah.
And it's her voice still, so she's all,
Dude, that's what I thought was really cool, was it was her voice, and but it, like super processed, so it so it sounded all creepy, and they gave it like giant eyelashes. How tall do you think that thing was?
It had to be at least 8 or 9 feet tall.
Oh, at least. But it
Which didn't make any sense. Like, why weren't the kids that tall? But it doesn't matter. It's still look cool.
I don't know. Like, maybe because they were kids. I don't know. Like,
It was still cool. Maybe they're like, let's make it fucking huge.
Dude, yeah, it's huge. Like, that was some good stuff. Yeah.
How do they? What? I just saw this thing too. How does she die? How do they wind up killing her?
They killed her. Okay, so, the cop tries to hit her with the axe, and she throws into
Electricity.
the wall.
That's right.
And then, oh yeah, that was another good part. So the Dana, who tried to kill herself in a bathtub with a hairdryer. Well, she actually sees Poopinplat's monster hit a electrical box, and she, I guess, gets the idea to electrocute it. So, man, it comes forward towards her, and she, like, kind of grabs the electrical box and holds it down, and it, like, runs right into it and, like, falls over. I think that thing had to be, like, 10 feet tall. Like, if you think about how it's leaned over that electrical box.
Oh, yeah, and when it's laying down there.
Dude, the legs are so long.
And it looks so cool, like the feet and shit.
It looks so cool. That was, like, that was a great monster. That was a great monster. And, so then it was so, like, I don't know if you noticed, but Dana electrocutes it and then looks at her hand that's all, like, electrocuted. Looks at her hands like, oh. You know, like, it's so, like, cheesy.
And then they cut and they show the fucking poodle eating some of
one of the
dead kids eating the slime, and you're like, what the fuck's gonna happen?
Yeah. So they killed one of the demons. The Andrew McCarthy lookalike cop shoots him or her, I don't know. Shoots him.
Shit.
Yeah. But it also destroys the elevator in the process. And the other one gets killed by Poopinplatz knocking the acid over, but there's still one left. And that one, they're like, there's some doors to get in to the lower level, but the solenoids are broken or something, and it's got a gate on it, so they can't get out that way. So they have a forklift, like a standing forklift, and they're trying to smash it through the door to get out.
I want to know how a forklift would be down there.
I don't know, but the thing that was really dumb to me about that part was, like, that sound. When they're crashing through the door, it is the worst sound ever. Like, Dale and Chris Jurgensen, that's the people who did the sound. They should have been fired or not paid or something, because they're some garbage fucking people. They're garbage. But they use that forklift to kill the last one, which is kind of cool. Like, I don't know why it doesn't get out of the way. It just kind of stands there as they drive towards it with the forklift, but it like stabs right through the chest. That was some good special effects too.
And the way she's all writhing around, like it's creepy.
Oh,
like,
man, so good.
She did a great job for a 9-year-old.
I know. So good. And there were rumors that they were like naked and they were just painted up, and they were like, no, we were wearing like leotard suits, and all the makeup went on top of that. Then they're like, oh, good, we're home free. We got these things killed. We killed Poopinplatz. We killed the 3 of them.
We killed them.
They done killed. So we're gonna move on. And you think the story's over?
It's far from over.
But it's ready to begin, like the Beastie Boys say.
Like, the movie just starts right now. That was just 10 minutes that we just explained to you.
So yeah, the next thing I hear is that, like, they hear the dog, and it busts through the door.
A
and it's
fucking
like,
roar. And they hear a fucking crazy roar, and they're like, what the fuck was that?
Dude, that thing coming through the door, which is actually I think the cover. I think that's the cover of the poster cover. I think that's what the release was. At least that's what the DVD
crazy.
is.
It's either the poodle on the cover, or the other cover they had was Phyllis Diller.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
She's all like crazy looking and shit.
That's funny. But yeah, whenever that poodle first busts through, you're kind of like, what the hell? And Dana
Also, like fucking 10 feet tall.
yeah, and Dana like actually laughs at it because she's like, "Oh, this thing's ridiculous," but then it growls or
That shit looks
roars.
real.
Dude, it looks so good.
The paws and shit are just like.
Dude, the paws are huge. When it's like busting through the door, it's big.
So it's just like trying to devour everything in sight, and they're trying to get out and run around and climb ladders and shit. I didn't understand that whole scene. It took like forever. I couldn't understand why the psychic was like stuck.
Dude, she got stuck. They literally made her crawl through it's a ladder that goes up, and then it goes through a place where there's like a small gap, and she's a big woman, and they all get through it easy, and she gets stuck in there and is trying to pull herself up, and I'm like, dang, man, they made her really try to like crawl through that gap.
And she's struggling.
She's struggling. And it nearly gets her, like, it busts open a water pipe that somehow is a gas pipe in the movie.
But she throws it one of the cheeseburgers she had in her pocket.
And it's like,
that was good.
So, that blows up. They think they're safe.
She winds up falling through the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And where does she land?
In the evidence locker.
Right next to the pipe bomb they saw. She grabs the pipe bomb.
Luckily, she had a lighter.
She has a... Well, how do you think she was warming up her McDoubles?
Luckily, the pipe bomb still had, they just had pipe bombs just sitting on a shelf with fuses in them still. That's a good thing.
Those things are so dangerous.
I want to go into a mortuary that has pipe bombs.
So she lights that bitch on fire, and she's, come on, Schmooty, or what was his name? Schmootenfeimers?
Oh my God, I can't remember. Floopsums?
So the dog gets all happy and shit.
Oh yeah, because she's like, here you go, you want to play fetch? Yeah, that was...
And she fucking throws it to him, and he catches it like a fucking pro. That shit would have killed her.
Yeah, pipe bomb. I mean, did you see that explosion? There was like 4 pipe bombs went off at once. It like blew the whole side of the building out, and they.
But it wouldn't have been that much. It was thin.
No, yeah, man.
It blows the dog to fucking hell, and then she winds up rolling out of the fucking.
Yeah, she walks out like a hero. It's like an action movie, like it had blown up, and she just walks through the smoke. Speaking of smoke, these guys must have
floofsums.
They must have rented a fog machine and really wanted to get their money's worth, because like there's just so many scenes where there's just fog in the background, like for no reason. There's just fog.
Yeah, there is
just fog, and it's like they are cranking that smoke machine.
Remember, I told you yesterday I wish I had the DVD of this, but the VHS.
Oh, speaking of fog machine. Oh my God. I'm going to go unhook should I unhook the,
Yes.
Hey Jamie, can you unhook the fire detector real quick? I don't know where it is. Maybe it's out there.
It's on the third beam. The storage.
Oh man, that's scary. It might be, I might have already taken the battery out, but I don't know. Yeah, we Mr. Monkey, last time we set off the smoke machine in the storage unit.
And that's when my Thea fell.
Oh, it was bad. But now we just need fog. I'm gonna do I've got it on the clapper. Did it work? I'm trying to get the smoke machine to work. It might be broken. Oh no. Oh no, I hear it. It started. Do I have to clap to turn it off? That's the question. Dude, that looks good. Here we go. Turn it off. Ooh. See, this is how pretty much that whole movie looked.
Wow, this looks cool.
Yeah, it looks good in here.
It smells so good.
In your basement, it's cotton candy flavor. In your basement, it was very...
More. We need more.
in your basement, it was
Give
very.
Mr. Monkey his baby teeth worth.
If that alarm goes off, you're not going to think we need more. Man, that's pretty good. It looks good in here. It really accentuates our lighting.
Thanks, Mr. Monkey.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was when you went to pee-pee. Or as my dad would say, tinkle.
Tinkle.
Yeah, it looks better than the basement, I feel like. The basement was too big, so it didn't fill up. This thing's like an 8x10, so it gets kind of full. Like really, really quickly. I'm gonna look at my notes here because I know there had to be some other good stuff. I wrote down smoke machine.
The VHS that I wanted, I mentioned yesterday.
Yeah.
It came with 2 covers. You could
Like 2 separate ones?
It was a horror movie, and then it came with an extra cover that slipped over the one, and it was a comedy with the poodle on the front.
Like you could have, you got one tape and 2 covers.
And 2 covers. The
That's
comedy one
cool.
would slip over it. They're probably impossible to find.
Yeah.
Especially with both.
Did you like how the police officer is like, the little Oriental boy? I was like, man, that's like so racist nowadays.
Yeah, because what the fuck are they, rugs?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, Oriental's not really a...
Now you call them Chinamans, right? Don't you call them Chinamen?
That's going to be a strike against us. But yeah, like, I was like, wow, they're even like in the credits, they call them like Oriental father, Oriental mother, Oriental boy. I'm like, dang, man. Like, that's...
It still has it on Wikipedia, too.
I know. That's what's like kind of crazy. I also want to let you know, do you know much about Bill Corso? The makeup artist? So he's worked with a lot of people, and he's done, like, he was on the Deadpool, but I thought what was really interesting, he also did the Studio 666 makeup. But I thought what was really interesting was that he did Mr. Popper's Penguins. He did the makeup for Mr. Popper's Penguins.
Well, at the end, you know what it's about, right?
Mr. Popper's Penguins? No.
At the end, you find out...
Somebody who gets 6 penguins.
At the end, you find out all those little fucking bastards are rabid, and they start killing everybody.
So it's a horror movie?
Yeah, it turns into a horror movie. It's like Sunshine.
Mr. Popper's Penguins.
Sunshine's a science fiction movie by Guy Ritchie. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It turns in from sci-fi into slasher. Fucking just bingo, bango, bongo. Spit it up.
I was just thinking about these little kids, man. The little kid.
Why are you always thinking about little kids?
I was just thinking about, there was just a part that popped into my head that was when Phyllis Diller first goes down there. She doesn't know anything bad's happening, and she's like, okay, I'm going to get down there. And she goes down there, and remember the first kid she sees is she just sees a little kid crying in the chair, and just from the back. Man, when it shows that kid, that's a totally different makeup. It's not, they're not like completely ghouled out, but it had like a black mouth with like, dude, the makeup is so good. The makeup in this thing
the eyes are all like puffy, like it's been beat up. Like that shit look, and they're like, it looked like they were sewn shut. And he's all like, ooh. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's super creepy.
Yeah. Good movie.
Yeah, but not a lot to talk. It sucks. It's just, what is it, like 85 minutes long?
Yeah, it's a pretty short movie. It's not too long.
Right up Cody's alley.
Yeah. And Phyllis Diller said, I can't remember where they shot it. I think it was in Arkansas? No, I can't remember. There were 2 different towns that they shot it in, and I can't remember exactly where it was.
North Carolina.
So she said that Asheville, maybe? I think it was Asheville, and something that started with an S, I think. But she was there. She said one day after they finished, it was 2 small towns, but it was where they arrested Jim Baker. Like Jim.
That's right, I heard that.
Yeah, and so they were leaving and they were watching
Jim Baker was going inside.
They were like watching, got to actually see him being arrested, and she was like, "That was one of the highlights," and I'm like, "That's kind of funny."
And it's crazy. This whole movie was shot in 5 weeks.
Yeah, it was shot quick. It was shot real quick. I mean, I'm sure because I'm sure the budget was probably really small. But like I said, you don't see what the budget is. It doesn't say on IMDb what the budget was. It's just kind of like I mean, it was straight to DVD, so maybe they just don't release the budget or anything on it. You know, it's just weird, really weird. But man, I really liked it. I really liked it. What was your favorite part?
I like the beginning scene when you find out why she stopped being a psychic or helping other cops because of that mutilated girl.
Uh-huh.
We didn't mention it, but when she finds the little girl is carrying her picture, she turns around and she's all fucking rotted. But then she gets up and she starts walking towards her, and one of her hands is all skeleton, rotten. Like, it looks cool.
Yeah.
And then the psychic's like all scared, and then she just like stops, and she looks down, and the little girl has her.
She's just hugging her.
Yeah, the little girl has her, like, hugging her, and I was like, that is so sweet, little zombie baby.
Yeah, the little zombie baby's
zombie
like,
baby.
"Thanks for solving my
Murder.
I love you.
Help
Help some other people.
And she said, "Lub."
I love you." Yeah, that was a pretty cool part.
And that was her saying, "Yeah, you're right." That was her saying, "Help these."
Yeah.
Help
and
these
that,
motherfuckers.
And that was the same.
Yeah, same girl.
Too, same girl. And she actually talked about that, and she said it was her in the makeup.
Yeah.
And then her arm was like pinned down, I guess, and they had a the one bone arm was a puppeteer following her. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. Some cool stuff.
I like how when they did her interview, they go into her house and she still has the bust on her counter.
Yeah, she has a lot of stuff from that movie. And I think, like, I don't know, I guess it's because she maybe didn't do anything after that.
She could totally do conventions. If I went to a convention and she was there selling little zombie pictures of herself,
oh man, it'd be great.
I'd fucking be like, I want one. Please sign this.
But it's weird. It's literally the only thing she's ever been in.
She can make a killing at conventions.
It's just so weird. We should try to...
I don't like the way her husband looks. It's probably him. I don't want you doing conventions. That's in the past.
He looked like a skater boy.
I know, right? He did.
Yeah, he was all like, he had like 90s hair.
It's like they forced him to brush his hair.
Yeah.
Right? His hair was all fucking...
I bet he works construction and skateboards still. I don't know.
Ain't nothing wrong with construction workers.
No, not at all. But I mean, I'm just looking at him and I'm like, yeah, he's probably in the construction industry. I don't know. But yeah, that was like her only thing she's ever done. Like, really weird. And I mean, it's like that over and over. You look up all these people that's in these movies, and other than just a little handful, everybody, cast, crew, music, I mean, everybody, they're just like, they've done like 1 or 2 movies. It's very, very bizarre. I don't get it. If I made this movie, if I was that little girl, I'd be like, I mean, because she, like, had fun. You could tell, like, behind-the-scene photos, she's, like, into it.
She still remembers everything today, so you know.
Man, she should have really...
She was like, that was the highlight of my life.
Yeah, she should
of my childhood.
Yeah. I would have been like, let's keep going.
I'm going to give it a 7.8 out of 10. Because of the leaves and the sound.
Yeah,
and the woman throwing the coffee.
I mean, I definitely think it's something that horror fans should watch. It's a good movie, but as far as overall, I would say I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10. It's not any kind of blockbuster, but it's definitely one of those like kind of not great produced, you know.
Just wait till they redo it on 4K.
The story the story is really good. I feel like the story is good. It's like it's pretty much the autopsy of Jane Doe, but with a poodle. And but it's like I did find something that said their budget was $850,000.
Hey, I said a cool mill.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, they did a pretty good job for $850,000, considering probably a lot of that went to the makeup and
Feeding her McDoubles.
yeah. Well, I'm thinking like the director, you know, he wrote it and directed it, so like I'd be like, well, my fee is $500,000 for directing.
The only reason I'm being mean to her is because she fucking threw a hot cup of coffee.
Yeah, on other cast members.
Yeah, so screw her, man.
Like on other cast members. That's why I think she probably flipped in this her last movie. She's like, fuck these fucks, I'm fucking out of here. It's their fault.
And she went fucking waddling away.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm pretty excited about this one. I think it's a good one. I'll definitely watch it again in my lifetime. I'm not gonna, you know, it's not a movie I hate or anything.
So you know how I got this copy? I couldn't find it anywhere. Anywhere. So back when Netflix used to send you DVDs, you remember that?
Yeah.
They had it.
For sale?
They had it where you would rent it and they would send you the disc. I kept it and they charged me $24.
Yeah.
And I had it in one of in a DVD case at my house and it disappeared. Fucking disappeared. Never saw it again.
So you kept it like you're like, I'm stealing this bitch.
Yeah, because I couldn't find it. You couldn't find it anywhere. So I kept it and they charged me. I had to pay for it. I didn't steal it. Man, I guess it is stealing, but I paid for it.
We've kept them for like 3 months at a time before because they're like, I mean, you're paying the monthly fee to keep the same movie if you want.
No, I wound up paying for it. There was an option to buy it.
And you're like, I lost it.
So maybe I did. I can't remember, but I kept it.
It was like a lease to own feature.
So I wound up paying for it. And then excuse me. These everyday streams, man, keeping me up.
I know.
Yeah, I wound up paying for it. Yeah, and it disappeared. So I was so excited. 2018, it came out on Blu-ray. So I bought it.
Yeah, it took forever.
Reversible cover too.
That's cool.
Poodle on one side.
Phyllis Diller on the other.
Poopin' Plats on the other. Yeah, so you got anything else to say on this movie?
No, I'm pretty good.
I knew this one was going to be a short one.
Yeah, it's like it's not a, you know, especially whenever there's just like, I mean, it's a short movie. It's a good watch. I feel like and
there's not really a lot of famous actors that we can branch off on and talk about their stuff. Like, it's a really it's so underrated. It's a so underrated movie. Like, there's hardly anything to say about it.
It's one of those ones most people have just never heard of.
Somebody ripped off the DVD you ripped off, Mr. Monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed out and never saw that DVD again.
You'll probably find it one day, like under your couch or something.
No, that thing's gone. I tore all my DVDs apart because I put it in a case that already had one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one day I'll open it. Oh, shit.
If you did what I did and just throw away all your cases, then you just put them into the car transporting ones, then you don't lose them.
I don't like listen to that.
Because I've got like 400. I got like 400 DVDs and Blu-rays in a space this big.
I mean, I guess it's still physical media.
It sucks the ones that don't have anything written on them. You're like, what the fuck movie is this? Like, you know, because it's like double-sided. So there's just like nothing written on it at all.
I have a bunch of the Draft House still.
Oh, that's cool.
The Draft House not screeners, like the movie parties.
The specials, yeah.
The movie parties. You never watched the one I lent you, Leathered Skin in the Sun. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Kind of Tarantino-esque?
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, the Italian Western.
Yeah, I like that shit, man. They don't make movies like that anymore.
Yeah, it was a good movie. So, but yeah, I mean, I think this is one that you should watch if you haven't seen it. But it's not streaming anywhere, so you'd have to buy it.
Yes, it's on YouTube.
Oh, well, there you go.
You can watch it.
YouTube.
Mr. Monkey, it's on YouTube. Check it out.
There you go. So I guess that probably wraps it up for today.
Yeah.
So I think
for October 9th, what's the schedule like? There we go. Damn, it's like this shit's reading my mind.
Today's October 10th.
Oh yeah, the 10th. I don't know why I said.
So tomorrow is the Changeling. That's a good one.
Oh my god.
That's a good one. That's not even like a horror movie. That's like a classic movie or something. I don't know that happens.
You know what makes it horror to me? When that fucking wheelchair.
We can talk about that tomorrow.
That's all I'm going to say. That fucking wheelchair.
So.
Changeling, tomorrow, the next day, Freaky. The next day after that, Reanimator. And then the next day after that.
28 days later. I think Emily's coming on for 28 days later.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I think she's going to be on.
For the 15th, man. The Entity.
Yeah. It's going to be good.
That one still scares me. I'm afraid to watch it.
It reminds you of being in bed at night.
Being boob handled by a ghost.
Yeah.
Boob handled by a ghost.
I don't like it.
I don't like it one bit.
Okay.
All right. Thanks everybody that tuned in today. And until tomorrow.
Tune in and talk shit.
Bye, guys.